Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we'll be taking a break from our weekly Rise of the Beast reviews and go to, well, more Beast Wars. And because it is currently Valentine's Day or Valentine's Day weekend, depending on when I post this, we are doing Silverbolt and Blackarachnia, the fan favorite, well I say fan favorite, the prominent couple throughout the entirety of Season 2 Beast Wars onward, in their new legacy/kingdom forms. So yeah, so we got this guy who was released during... No, yes, it was Legacy United. I was making sure I wasn't wrong. And Blackarachnia here was released in Kingdom, which was... God, I don't know how long ago that was. Let me know in the comments below. Speaking of which, I'll be leaving a link to all my playlists down in the description below and in the pinned comment. Like, comment, and subscribe, all those fun doodads. Let's continue. So yeah, Blackarachnia here was a release from like Wave 1 from Kingdom, if I'm incorrect, correct or incorrect, but I mean it could also be Wave. I don't remember which way specifically, but if you notice, this difference between this version and the original design is that she has her golden legs. I mentioned this in my Beast Wars B team, or Predacon review, I think it was, that I swapped out the legs, the black legs that are originally on this, for the gold legs on the toy version of Blackarachnia to make her look more animation accurate. And apparently I didn't need to do that because they made a perfect version of Blackarachnia thanks to like Takara's, premium finish line. But then again, I don't need to get it because I have this. So yeah. So, and Silverbolt hasn't had any repaints at all lately, even though there's like one that could be done, and even then that's obscure. So yeah, so Silverbolt, who is our lovable, like I say knightly, even though it was character actually, so that actually makes sense. So our lovable knightly little wolf, like dog bird thing, because he was what was in Season 2 of Beast Wars was called a fusor, a combination between two different animals. In this case, a bird and a wolf/dog. There was his partner, Quick Strike, which was a combination of a scorpion and a rattle, like a king cobra, who still hasn't gotten a new figure, even though apparently from what I hear from that figure, it is riddled with clear plastic issues. So yeah. So here we have them in their beast modes, and quite the unlikely pairing between the two, honestly. But yeah, so yeah, like a Black Widow spider and, as I said, the fusor combination. Let's go for articulation real quick, starting with Blackarachnia. Start off with, there is a ball joint at each one of the legs here, so you can splay her in any crawling position that you want, and really have her like actually floating on the ground. So yeah, like nothing at the head, nothing at the legs, or, well, as you can see, the obvious legs and shoulders and arms. So it's kind of hard to hide a lot of the alt mode in such a small form. So yeah. So let's get on to Silverbolt, who is, weirdly enough, he has a lot more articulation than his older toy. Well, speaking of which, actually, here is his older toy. So, as you can see, this was kind of more animation. Well, the animation was based off of this design, so it's not that surprising, actually, that it looks a bit more accurate compared to the Legacy United version, which was going for a more realistic take. Kind of like how the same thing happened here on Blackarachnia, where this is more of a realistic spider than her actual cartoon design. So yeah. Then also, compared to this version, you can actually fold the wings up. So if you want to store them in beast mode on your shelves or in, well, storage, it'll be easier. But yeah, you do lose out on the gimmick tree here, though. So yeah. So beast mode articulation. Nothing at the head because it is, well, technically you can get it upwards, but that's for transformation mostly. You can open his mouth, revealing he has no teeth. I mean, if you do that, then you can see some teeth, but like no teeth along the edge. The wings are on 2 hinges, so just like that. And then there are hinges for the actual wing portions of the figure, which is honestly a pretty nice wingspan with a nicely painted feathers that only are on this part here, not on like the wings back here, which I do not understand. But yeah. So, and then for the legs, there is just articulation down here, even though then that clips into place. So you're getting like no real play in between. You can move the feet and move those side to side. And that's really it. Unless you unpeg them here, and then you can move them in any way, because these will end up being the hips. And then back here, you can really only get forward with the back legs, because these will also end up being the robot mode arms. As you can see, the arms by his ass cheeks. Yeah. But yeah. So then again, this is just the arm articulation here. If you just untap it from here, then yeah. I don't understand why they integrated the tabs into the transformation where he basically gets no extra articulation, even though he's a beast former, which are known for having articulation in both modes. I don't understand. If someone can explain to me in the comments if the designers have mentioned it in any way that I have missed, then please let me know. But yeah. So, let's get on to transformation. We'll start with Blackarachnia, and then we'll go on to Silverbolt. So start off with Blackarachnia, flip to the underside, remove the blaster here, and set that off to the side. And then start off with, move the arms and untap them from the feet here, and then move the shoulders upwards. And then this entire thing will collapse in on itself. So, like, bringing up the back of the spider, essentially, and then rotating the legs out, folding the feet out. You can rotate them down, just like that, and then you got the legs all done. Now you just need to feed the head through this middle piece here. Spread the arms out. It fell off its mushroom joint. Okay, I think that's a first. Rotate them around, then you feed the head through. Make sure the spider head goes behind the pelvis, and then you can bring up the backpack and then collapse it in just like so. It doesn't really tab into place. I lie, apparently. It tabbed into place. That's the first time that's happened on my figure. Then again, I haven't really messed with this figure all that much, because I'm not a big fan of spiders. But, hey, Blackarachnia was a good character on the show. So, yeah, here we have Blackarachnia in her robot mode. And, honestly, this is pretty much a mini masterpiece, especially if you get the... if you had the first, like, buzzworthy Bumblebee, like, 4-pack that had her toy recolor, and switch out those legs for these. Switch out those legs on them, and then, like, honestly, this is pretty perfect. Like, I don't see a reason to get the, you know, Takara repaint version, or, like, the masterpiece, honestly. So, yeah. So, we'll get into her articulation after we transform her boyfriend, Silverbolt. So, start off with, for Silverbolt, untab the head, bring all this up, and then untap the back feathers, rotate it all around, and then we can untab the legs, rotate them around, bring the feet up until they click into place, untap the other leg, just like so. And now he's getting taller and falling backwards. So for the shoulders, we untab them, bring them down here, clip this block into place, just like so. Untab the arm from here, and then boom, that's all done. Do the same thing on the opposite side. Fold down the waist skirt, flip out the head, flip in the dog head. There we go. There we have Silverbolt in his robot mode, and a very simple transformation that, I mean, the original toy was more show accurate. Like, let's see. So yeah, so to show him off, just untab all this, flip that head out, just like so. Untab the legs. Make sure they tab together down here. Tab that into place, and then you bring the arms forward and fold this down and folded out the arms. And there you have the original G1 Silverbolt, or Beast Wars Silverbolt, technically not G1, but as you can see, you can't really do anything about the wings. And you can technically fold them up, but that's it, really. Like, they barely have any articulation that's meaningful. Besides, that's it. So yeah, so here he is next to his modern version, which is honestly a lot more show accurate in proportion compared to the original toy. For one, he doesn't have the perma growl that the original toy has. He just has a stoic line face, is the best way to describe it. But yeah, pretty much a similar-esque design, like transformation wise. Like, all the elements go into their same places. It's just a different way of how to get there. Like, even the like Legacy United one has the hinges where these arms extend from the back to the front. Like, I honestly find that cute, and they didn't need to include them, but they were a part of the show model, and they kind of complete the look in my mind. So yeah, let's get the old one off to the side here and put the two lovebirds next to each other. So yeah, and honestly, this is a perfect scale for these two, because I remember, like, I watched a few clips like of their like scenes together, and honestly, this is pretty much how they were like sized up next to each other. So I do wonder when we are going to get her transmetal form, but then again, considering we haven't really gotten that many transmetal forms, only three transmetal forms technically. That being the like Optimus Primal, the Tigatron, and the Transmetal 2 Dragon Megatron, of which I'll have linked down in the description below because I have reviewed those. So yeah. So honestly, it is really nice having the couple together again. But yeah, so for articulation in robot mode, we'll start with Blackarachnia first. She has a ball joint at the head, side to side, full 360, and a hinge at the neck. So if you readjust the backpack a bit, you can get her looking up a little bit further. No waist rotation due to how all this transforms, and considering how thin the like waist pieces are here, I would not think it would be a good idea to add a waist rotation. But yeah, so rotation here at the shoulder. Shoulders can go all the way up that far. 2 bicep rotations. One to, move the, just so you can move the, spider legs around, because these are pretty big. And then a 90-degree bend at the elbow, nothing at the wrist due to these being claws. So for the hips, legs can go back that far, can go forward and that far. You can move it outwards to get some more forwards, but then you're just going to the sides here. which can get pretty far. Like, you can get a full 180 at the knees, and ankles can go forward thanks to transformation, and have a very tight ankle pivot, which you can get to almost like a full 90. It's actually pretty good. So, if you're looking for like a small scale Blackarachnia figure, I say this figure is pretty good to hunt down, but like, know that there are some fragility cases in anyway. But yeah, so let's continue with Silverbolt. Now for Silverbolt's articulation, also for his weapon storage, I almost forgot to mention, they are just on the tips of his wings, and they are molded to go on each wing, so you can't really confuse them. Though, after articulation, I'll point out a little flaw this guy has compared to the original toy. But first things first, a ball joint at the head can do a full 360. Can't really look up that far, even though he's a flying character. I feel like they could have carved out a ball joint path back there, but it is what it is. He has a waist rotation. You just need to move the tail feathers up. Sorry about that. Rotation here at the shoulder. A arm can go about that far out. Bicep rotation. Elbows can go to 90, but if you want to go over that, you just have to move the, well, dog leg. And hips can go, well, that far forward, and can go that far back. And if you move the wings out of the way, they can go even further back. Can go all the way out. Thigh rotation. 90 degrees of bend at the knee, but there is a clicking point if you want to, straight out. You can shave this down if you want a full, range of movement that doesn't click in the middle. But don't remove that click, because that's what holds it in robot and tiger mode, Fusor mode. Words hate me today, apparently. And then for ankles, you can get pretty good side to side, but not full splits, if that makes any sense. So yeah, and the wings are the same as they were in beast mode, and this is where the flaw comes in. So same two hinge joints and same pin joint here, I guess is the best way to call it. While it looks great to have them, splayed downwards for the sake of a display, but one of the more iconic things the character could do was essentially using these weapons here as missiles, which is something that the original toy could obviously do. But for some reason, I don't know why, they didn't add a hinge joint here to have the wings go over the shoulders as they could on the original toy. There are upgrade parts for this. I might get those in the future, but for straight up display and for flying poses, it's honestly pretty nice. That is one tiny downside about this figure compared to the original one. But then again, this figure has many major upsides comparative to that. And also, I forgot to mention, he has a wrist swivel. This is really nice for a character with melee weapons, which you can also put both into his hands to basically give him a staff weapon, which he never really had in the show, but it's cool that there's the option for it. But yeah, honestly, if you like Silverbolt, and if you want a modern, articulation version of this guy that isn't, one of the Transart, I think Transart's third-party copy of Silverbolt, which is a masterpiece one, but if you want one that is cheaper, more readily available, then I honestly say go for the Legacy United one. And let me get this posed up and put on to final thoughts. So, final thoughts. Honestly, these two are probably the best, mainline versions of these characters we're probably going to get for a while. Because, honestly, I don't see them improving on Blackarachnia unless they figure out how to get a waist swivel into the design without, giving up on the, slender aspects of her, CGI design. And Silverbolt, honestly, besides the wings not being able to fold over the shoulders, honestly, it is a really good figure. There are upgrade kits to fix this issues and also, make the wings a bit longer. But besides that, it is honestly a really good figure, and I feel like could be a basis for a masterpiece version in the future. Well, I feel like they won't copy the design one-to-one, obviously, but I feel like they could, improve upon it to use it as a skeleton, essentially. But anyway, this has been my Valentine's Day special. I hope you guys have enjoyed all those fun doodads, and I hope you guys have a good rest of the weekend and a good rest of your Valentine's Day. This is me signing out. Peace.